Alrighty, guys, Mikey here, bringing you the Wrestling Show, SmackDown Rundown for May 8th, 2018. This week, we opened up the show with Paige. Wow, she was really good on the mic. She's working the crowd so good. She is super good as the GM. I'm loving her in that role. It's a perfect role for her. I'm glad that she's in it. Since she can't wrestle, I'm glad that she's able to do this. Let's see here. She basically was telling us about how we're going to be start the qualifying matches on SmackDown for the Money in the Bank matches, and she says right now, so we get a match between Jeff Hardy versus The Miz, and The Miz got the win here. That was really no big surprise for me in that match. Decent match here. It was better than the match that Jeff Hardy and Randy Orton had at Backlash, so that was good. Miz is, he's a good worker. Let's see, what else did we get here? Next up, we had they had a little segment here. Sheamus, he's eating Lucky Charms in the backstage area because he's so upset about his loss that he had to Xavier Woods the week before, that he's eaten Lucky Charms. Let's see here. So he's talking to Cesaro, and Cesaro tells him, like, well, I could have beat him. And then Cesaro says, fine. You fight him, and then they both find their gear bags full of pancakes. Next was another great segment that I really love. Shinsuke Nakamura. He is working the heel angle perfectly. He's here saying, it's backstage promo again, and he's saying if there's a problem with AJ. And then, Renee Young asks him if he has a problem with AJ. And then he says no. Pauses. Speak English, of course, is his answer. He did speak English, of course. He has to tell Renee, because Renee's like, well, we know you speak English. And he says, I know, but I forgot it. And then next line I liked, before he forgets again, he does wants this, he's got one last statement about AJ Styles, and it's AJ's nuts. And he says, but I am too. So I like the little pun there, little wordplay. It was pretty good. I thought it was funny. Shinsuke Nakamura is playing the heel perfectly. After this, we had a qualifying match for the Money in the Bank on the women's side with Charlotte versus Peyton Royce. Charlotte got the win here. I thought both performers looked really good in this match. Peyton Royce looked good. Charlotte looked good. So yeah, it was a good match. Let's see here. Next up, we got Daniel Bryan do a little segment saying that he's ready to fight, and he's going to continue to defy all odds. We had Xavier Woods versus Cesaro next. Cesaro got the win here. Sheamus actually caused a little bit of a distraction, which helped Cesaro get the win. But man, Xavier Woods took he took that uppercut from Cesaro, and he actually took it, and he ended up getting a bloody mouth. Apparently, I follow him on Instagram and Twitter and everything, and Xavier Woods apparently he when he took that uppercut, he actually bit down on his tongue and ended up getting biting a hole through his tongue, which is no fun. I actually had a friend back when we were in elementary school, maybe middle school. He had that happen to him. We were at like some camp somewhere and playing on teeter-totters, but except for we were like standing on where you're supposed to be sitting, and like he tried to jump off on the opposite end from what I was on, and so the teeter-totter I was on went down and his went up, obviously, and he didn't jump back far enough, so that teeter-totter caught him right underneath the chin, and he bit his tongue too, and actually caused a hole in his tongue. So I know that could be no fun for Xavier Woods if he ended up biting a hole in his tongue. Let's see here, but anyways, let's move on. We had AJ Styles says he will take down Shinsuke Nakamura if Shinsuke has the guts, he's gonna fight him again. And he is also kind of doing a little innuendo there when he said guts. Let's see here. We had kind of a creepy, odd segment with the Bludgeon Brothers here, where they're showing all these toys, and the Bludgeon Brothers are like, "Oh, we have our toys," and the hammers, and they hit the camera or whatever. So interesting segment or a little promo there. Next up, we finally got another match, which was Becky Lynch versus Mandy Rose. They showed a little backstage promo here before the match started. Becky Lynch is already in the ring, and Mandy and Sonya are telling Paige, "Oh yeah, well, we know that you said Absolution is over, but you know what? We're still going to stick together, and you can't do anything about it. So there." And Paige is like, "Oh yeah, well, guess what? I can do something about it. Sonya Deville, you are banned from ringside tonight, so you can't be helping Mandy." So Mandy has to go down there by herself. I gotta say, the Mandy entrance by herself was pretty spot on. She's calling herself God's greatest creation, and she really played that up in her entrance here. And she actually got the win in the match too, and she actually looked pretty good. Again, I'm sure I've been saying it now for like the past month or more, that I think Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville actually have both come along really well since they first started out. I think they're both really good performers, especially a lot better than expected and what a lot of people were giving them credit for. So I've ever since they got called up to the main roster, I really like what they've been doing, and I hope they both keep it up. We only saw Mandy in singles action here tonight, but I hope she keeps it up, and I hope Sonya Deville keeps it up as well, because they're both really good in my eyes. Next up after this, we had another qualifying match for Money in the Bank, and it was Daniel Bryan versus Rusev. Rusev actually got the win here in a shocking event. I'm surprised that WWE is still not burying Rusev. So Rusev actually got the win over, the babyface Daniel Bryan. So I'm sure that that makes Rusev look pretty strong. Who knows what's going on in WWE? That could always be another way of them trying to bury Rusev Day by maybe saying like, "Oh well, if he beats Daniel Bryan, maybe people won't be cheering for him anymore." But you know what? I don't think that's going to happen. I think people just really like Rusev Day, so people are still going to be chanting it. I'm interested to see what this means for Daniel Bryan going forward. I guess we might have to see more Big Cass feud with him, since Big Cass, still attacked him after their match at Backlash. Maybe they're going to go back to that. Maybe they're going to find another way for him to be in the Money in the Bank. I'm not sure how that's going to go for Daniel Bryan right now. At least Rusev is in the Money in the Bank ladder match, because he was in the casket match at Greatest Royal Rumble, but we all know how that was going to turn out. And Rusev is probably not going to win Money in the Bank either, but I mean, I'm glad that he's getting something to do, and he's part of a bigger narrative, a bigger storyline, which he deserves to be. So I'm excited about that. But yeah, that was the closer for your SmackDown. Again, these are just the short shows for the rundowns on SmackDown right now. Later in the week, I'll be back with Andrea to do our full reviews of both Raw and SmackDown together, and just kind of give our thoughts on this week in wrestling. And then probably tomorrow I will catch up with 205 Live and NXT. I missed the last couple weeks episodes for those, so I'll just do a quick rundown of the last 2 weeks, and then do this current week episodes. Really busy with the 2 jobs that I had the last couple of weeks, so kind of scheduling just didn't quite work out, but I will have something up probably, if not tomorrow, by Friday for sure. But I will have those up. Until then, guys, we'll see you later. Bye.